Hey guys, what is up? It is me, Pagey, here once again with another video on the Arrowverse and just DCTV as a whole. So we are in the final run of DCTV on the CW, and while I consider the Arrowverse, which has, dominated most of DC's run on the CW, to just be the shows that were either set on Earth 1 for the majority of the time, to then be Earth Prime, or just played into the crossovers most of the time. So Supergirl gets in due to that. There are a lot of people that consider the Arrowverse to just be any DC show that aired on the CW after Arrow started. So when Arrow started, any DC show after that, that's the Arrowverse. So pretty much every show apart from Smallville. Though due to Crisis, is Smallville in the Arrowverse now? I don't think so, but some might make that case. Anyway, in this video, I thought we could start a trio of videos. I think I'm going to do maybe starting with ranking every Arrowverse show's first season from worst to best. So we have 8 shows in total that I'm including, all these shows having a minimum of 3 seasons. So there would be some other shows, but those shows only had like 1 season maybe. So the shows that are eligible are Arrow, Flash or The Flash, Supergirl, Legends of Tomorrow, Black Lightning, Batwoman, Stargirl, and Superman and Lois. Those are the ones included. So yeah, I will be ranking their first seasons, not the show as a whole, just the first season's quality, starting at number 8, and of course ending at number 1 as you'd expect in a countdown. But of course, throughout the video, be sure to let me know your opinions in the comment section down below, and also your rankings. What would you put as your 8 to 1? Maybe we can just do a top 3 first seasons of Arrowverse shows. Let me know in the comments, maybe your opinions on mine. I'll be like, you idiot, why is that at number 2? You might be thinking that. I don't know. You have to let me know in the comments. And of course, if you're going to enjoy the video, want to show your support, everything like that, drop a like. It takes 2 seconds. So at number 8, or in last spot, whichever way you want to put it, will be number 8. Let's not do any last spots. We'll do number 8. So at number 8, we have Supergirl. And if you've watched my channel for a while, or just watched at any point where I've voiced my opinions on Supergirl as it ran through its series, season 1 was my worst season for this show until I think the final season happened. I think that's the worst season of the show for Supergirl, the final season. But I didn't really vibe with the rom-com style of season 1. I know many people did, and it's what made them love the show, and they think some of the more, I guess, actiony seasons aren't their favorites. I just didn't like season 1 and the style what they did with the rom-com and stuff. I think the show got better and better up until season 4 where it peaked, and then it sort of declined from there to the point where I think the final season was its worst season. But yeah, this was an easy 8th or last spot, whichever, if you want to be a bit more positive or negative, whichever way you want to word it. For me, I mean, if Gotham Knights and Naomi were included here, then Supergirl wouldn't be an 8th spot. Actually, no, it would be an 8th spot. It just wouldn't be the last spot. But for this list, it's in that 8th or last spot, whichever way you want to put it. At number 7, I have Batwoman. Now, Batwoman season 1 is a very weird season of television. Not because it's great, and not because it's bad and horrible or whatever. It is honestly the most average season of television I may have ever watched. I've said that before on the channel, and when I say that, I mean like every episode is pretty much the same quality and rating out of 10 for me at least, like a 6.5/7, whichever, if you want to lean a bit more generous and stuff like that. It's that for every single episode, from the first episode of the season to the last episode of the season. I don't think it has a standout episode or a horrible episode. It's really weird due to that. Would I rewatch it? No. But there isn't anything that turns me off it at the same time. It's just as mid gets, as average gets. It's weird. At number 6, I have Legends of Tomorrow. Now, Legends season 1 was a show or a season of a show that finishes strong in its first season, but outside of the pilot episode, which is a lot of fun, it does have a lot of teething and growing issues in its first half, as it's sort of just still trying to figure itself out, if you want to put it, and just figure out what type of show it wants to be. But that stronger second half of the season compared to the first does lead very well into season 2. But when we're focusing on the first season of the show, it just lacks a bit of quality due to that. Yeah, it was just a bit messy. It wasn't horrible. It was still very watchable. I don't think any of these seasons are unwatchable. The only one that I wouldn't really even be tempted to watch again for any reason would be Supergirl, and Batwoman would be like, I have to have nothing else to do to watch Batwoman probably. But I'd watch season 1 of Legends again. It's just the first half is pretty rough, or at least just inconsistent as it's trying to find its feet. It puts it on a pedestal or something like that. It's just above average from beginning to end. At number 4, and I'm sort of surprised it's not in my top 3, because I thought it would be. If I just thought off the top of my head, didn't really have to create a list or a countdown. So I was sort of surprised that I am putting Arrow season 1 outside of the top 3 for this list, because I love this season of television. Of course, it's the first season in the entire Arrowverse, and it's what would have hooked people initially that then led them on to Flash and stuff like that. But that just sort of shows you, I guess, the strengths and the quality of the top three, which we'll get to in a second. But Arrow season 1 did, I mean, you have to be honest, it did an amazing job of not only setting up what will happen in the present day with Oliver Queen, as well as what will happen in the flashbacks, but also teasing reveals for the flashbacks for later seasons, not just later in the season, but also for later seasons, like season 5 and stuff like that, within the present day scenes in season 1. You know, even thinking ahead to the point where we were like overthinking what a certain name drop or a certain scar or tattoo on Oliver's body or a name in the book or something like that would mean going forward. But yeah, I was sort of surprised that it was missing out on the top 3, just because I thought, oh no, this would automatically be in the top 3, if not the top 2, but apparently not. But here we go into the top 3 for the first seasons of the Arrowverse, you know, ranking them from worst to best. And number 3, we have Stargirl. Now, season 1 of Stargirl, I mean, it does have a pretty special place in my memories, sort of. Sounds a bit weird, but it does, because of when it came out. For those that remember, it was during the COVID pandemic, like the middle of the COVID pandemic, I think it was, like the middle of the year at the very least, like around June or July or something. Or maybe end of May, when like nothing was coming out. If anything, a lot of stuff was ending and airing whatever episodes they'd done before they were shut down because of COVID. But Stargirl was just starting its season because they'd wrapped filming on season 1, like maybe right before the pandemic started or like towards the end of 2019. But I was looking forward to it and thought it would be a solid show, especially with like Jeff Johns, who created the character at the helm of it. But it still did take me by surprise. I think a lot of people by surprise with like how much I enjoyed it and they enjoyed it on a weekly basis. And you know, I've, you know, gone on to do that when like the various times I've revisited the season since, whether that's the entire thing or just specific episodes. It's such a good first season of television as well. And I think it just caught a lot of people off guard, but it was also just enjoyable at the same time. So I think it deserves to be in the top 3. It was a hard thing. I was sort of balancing Arrow and Stargirl. I was like, God, do I be a bit biased and put Arrow there? But I think I have to be fair. And I think season 1 of Stargirl's just, it deserves to be there. Here we go. At number 2, just missing out number 1, obviously. But at number 2, we have Superman and Lois. And it's sort of like Stargirl's first season. Like Superman and Lois was a show I was looking forward to. And we had to wait for it a bit because it kept getting delayed because of COVID, funnily enough. But I think we weren't, like I wasn't, and I'm sure a lot of people weren't exactly sure what to expect from it. Like we'd heard that it was like being, like as it was being made, that it would be somewhat familiar in style to the previous Arrowverse shows. So like Arrowverse fans would enjoy it, but also be different at the same time. And it arguably fell into a category more like what Stargirl was. You know, season 1 of Superman and Lois does a great job, a very good job of centering around established characters from the Arrowverse that we'd met before, like Superman and Lois Lane, played by the same actors, but just in a different setting and world, while also making us care for them in a new way, and also the other characters that we introduced as well. Obviously, it has a great story throughout the first season, involving multiple characters as well that all center in. I think the only downside maybe of season 1 of Superman and Lois is that it just felt like it was wrapping up its story in like episode 13, and that arguably that should have been the finale, but then it goes to episode 15 and they stretch it out a bit. But that's nothing major. That's like, I don't think it really ruined the quality at all, like too much. Like maybe takes off like half a point maybe in regards to the quality, but hardly, if that, like if a half a point. It really matters if like it really ruined it that much for you, or, you know, it was that much of a negative. But yeah, it probably should have ended around episode 13. It just felt a bit random that we kept going for 2 episodes more. But still a great season of television. I think it's still probably the best season of the show, though season 3 is pretty solid for Superman and Lois as well. And at number 1, obviously it's The Flash. Would it be anything else? Like this is, you know, obviously there's going to be bias there and everything. I'm like, oh, you're biased, blah, blah, blah. Fair enough, but it's my list. It's my list. This is a perfect season of television. Even more impressive that it is 23 episodes. While, I mean, the other 2 in this top 3 of Stargirl and Superman and Lois, I think Stargirl's 13 episodes, and then we mentioned that Superman and Lois is 15. Crazy. And it's carrying the same story from episode 1 through to episode 23, and there's really no filler. It plays into the story in some way in each of those episodes. I mean, the only filler episode technically, I guess, would be the crossover, because it's, I guess that doesn't really have to do with the main thing. But even then, I'm pretty sure it gets referenced, and they even do stuff that might play into that storyline going forward, I think, in the crossover episode. So it's still relevant, I guess. You know, and some shows struggle to keep a story going through 8 episodes for a season nowadays, let alone 23 like season 1 of The Flash did. So I think we all know why this is as good as it is, and I don't really have to explain it too much and why it is number 1, at least my list, and I think most people's lists. But to me, it's the clear winner. I think it's number 1, and then there's a bit of a drop off, and then you get the rest. Or you probably get like 2, 3, 4, and then a bit of a drop off and blah, blah, blah. But I think the clear standout here is The Flash for number 1, at least for me. But yeah, guys, thanks for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, it'd be awesome if you could drop a like and show support. Let me know in the comment section down below your rankings, your opinion on my rankings. You can leave a top 8, you can leave a top 3. Do what you want to do. Up to you. And of course, if you are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe, and I'll catch you guys later. Goodbye.